Welcome to part 2 of the Joy of CSS. In this video, we are going to be talking about the tag selector. In the next video, we'll go into more depth into colors. Now, you'll notice in my HTML that I have a heading, a paragraph, a link out to a website, and an unordered list of features, followed by an image. All of this content is wrapped in a parent tag, the main tag. Now, let's say that I wanted to set everything inside of the main tag to the color red. Well, we'll start by selecting that tag. We do that just by using the name of the tag. For instance, we can't type paragraph if we want to select a paragraph. Instead, we type P for the paragraph tag, since that's how it's represented in HTML. So for our main tag, we'll go ahead and set the color to red. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail on the color property here, as that is a follow-up for the next few videos. But you probably noticed something. This anchor tag here is not changing its color to red. And that's because of how anchor tags work by default. They actually have a predefined value for the color property. You've probably noticed this on sites like Google. It's blue if you've never visited the site before, and purple if you have. For instance, let's Google JavaScript for loops, and Google will show us blue for links we've never clicked on, and purple for links we have. For instance, I often refer to W3 Schools and Mozilla Developer Network to get some more in-depth knowledge on properties and methods and loops that I'm using. Back to our CSS here. If we did want to force the anchor tag to be the color red, we would just have to specifically select it. So let's select our anchor tag. Again, it's represented just by the letter A. And then we will define its color as red as well. Now, this brings me to a great follow-up topic. Not repeating yourself. You'll hear the word dry, which stands for don't repeat yourself, mentioned in every programming language. And in CSS, it's just as important. Since I am setting both the main tag and the anchor tag to the color red, why not do that to both at the same time? So let's remove these 4 lines of code and instead use what's called a multi-selector. So after the word main, I will add a comma and then the next selector, in this case, the anchor tag. And now I have removed, I went from 7 lines of CSS to 3. I definitely advise that you take advantage of multi-selectors where it's necessary. Now, let's look at a few other examples. In some of these CSS properties, we haven't introduced yet, but that's okay. We will go into more detail in the coming sections. For instance, for our H1, let's go ahead and set its font size down to 16 pixels. Let's go ahead and set our unordered list to have a list style of none, which removes the bullets. We'll also set its padding to 0 to left align those list items. And finally, for our image tag, let's give it a width of 250 pixels. Notice we didn't have to define the height property, it automatically sized that down for us. And I think that about sums up how to use the tag selector in CSS. Join us in our next video where we'll talk about named colors before moving on to more advanced colors.